Okie dokie. I'm going to try to do a little video here that will help show you guys how to set up a party. And I'm using the new Facebook. I know some folks have had some difficulty translating the instructions from the old Facebook to the new Facebook, so hopefully this will help a little bit. The first thing that we're going to do after you've logged into your account with Pampered Chef and you're in Consultants Corner is we're going to go up and click the plus sign to create a party. Right here, you'll have options what you're wanting to add. Since we're working on a party, we're going to click Create a Party. And pretty much everybody's doing virtual right now, but you can see here this gives you a few different options. So depending on what kind of party you're doing, you'll pick that, but I'm going to show you how to do a virtual party. So click on virtual. Now this will give you the opportunity to indicate whether it's a fundraiser or a wedding. If I click fundraiser, you can see here that we have some preloaded organizations, and then you can select other organization. If you choose to do a fundraiser for another organization, that's where you're going to need the employer ID number and such in order to get the party set up. Then alternatively, you can click wedding, and it will theoretically, I guess, connect you to help you connect to a registry, but you can do a registry regardless. We're actually not doing any of those things. This party is just a party. We're going to select our start date. For our purposes, we tend to start our parties on Saturdays, so the 22nd. And I always set my parties to close at least the Monday, if not the Tuesday after, even if I'm going to close it on a date that's earlier. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and pick Monday. If you were doing a mystery host or a launch party or something along those lines, you would click consultant as host and it will autofill all your information. But most of the parties you're going to do obviously will not be you. So I am putting in my host name. She's already in my records, so her information is all autofilling. If you haven't had her purchase from you before or him purchase from you before, you'll need to make sure that you have an email, a phone number, and a physical address. So you need something more than a P.O. box, because it won't accept that, because we use FedEx and they need a physical address in order to deliver. So here's where we're going to go ahead and name our party. I try to use basically the same names. I didn't used to. But it got too hard to constantly come up with new ideas. So this is going to be Paula's Sizzlin' Summer Soiree, a lot of nice alliteration there. And then our host name should be in here. I started out with this, and it works well for me to name all my parties according to the season and the year. Evidently, I've already played with this one a little bit, so I'm just going to throw it a little bit different just so that I can get this together for you guys. Okay, now you see we've got this little bit right here. I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank, and I can come back and add it later, but since I haven't created the Facebook page for it yet, I'm not going to be able to add that quite yet. So right now, I'm just going to say create party, and it'll bring you up to this little dashboard that is what you will see. So this shows you on the right-hand side what your guests will see, and over here is all on the left is the information that you can use to edit and access the information that you need. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to Facebook. Okay, get all those notifications cleared. This is my business page. I'm going to go over to more right here. Click on that. Go into groups, because we want to make sure that all of our parties are set up as a group, and we want to make sure that our parties are set up as a group in a business page, not our personal page. Facebook will really hate you if you do that. Okay, so we're going to create a linked group. All right, and we're going to name it the same thing, Paula's Sizzling, that sound right? Summer Soiree. And actually, I'll grab some emojis. And I use this little guy all the time to get my fun emojis. I'm just going to use this flame here and copy that, and come back here and throw it in here, space. And one of the things I'll try to show you later is if your emojis are all the same for the week that you're doing the party. Post My Party is weird. It sorts it by, if it's not alphabetical, it sorts it by the type of emoji. So all your emojis that match will all be in the same area when you go to find your party. I make my parties private because I've had a lot of hosts that don't necessarily want people to know they're having a party, not because they're ashamed of Pampered Chef or anything like that, but they have friends or family that sell Pampered Chef who they don't necessarily want to include or have aware that they're not going through them, and so we always make our parties private. I always do anyhow. And I am going to invite my host through here, and she's not coming up, so we'll have to invite her some other time or some other way. So we'll go ahead and click create, and now the group exists. The very first thing I always do, particularly because I tend to invite my host through that little square, but evidently she hasn't joined my page yet. We'll fix that. We're going to change the cover image because those blue people drive me crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and upload a photo that I have created of my own cover page that I did through Canva. If you look here, this is the document that all of you guys should have access to. But it includes a cover image, and it also gives you access to some other cover images. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use one that I've created. Party cover, and it's still summer, so summer, and that will pop up. And then you want to make sure you click Save Changes. Okie dokie. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm a member of this group. My individual self is a member of this group, because this is going to allow me to invite individuals that may not be members of my business group, as is the case with my host. So I'll go ahead and join the group. Now I'm going to switch over, and this is a new thing between Facebook and Post My Party. They are requiring that that your personal account be an administrator on your group as well as your business account. So I don't know if you noticed, I switched back over to my business account, and now my business account is going to invite my personal account to be an administrator. And then it's so much craziness, because it's like I'm talking to myself. And then I am going to switch back over to me, and I'm going to go to my notifications, and there's me inviting me, and I should be able to, okay, so the little thingy hasn't popped up yet, so I'm going to just refresh. There's going to be a little button to accept the invitation. There we go. So I have agreed to accept my own invitation. So much craziness. Now I'm going to switch back over to my business account to finish setting up. I'm going to go to home. That'll take me to our main screen with the discussion stuff. And I'm going to put this information on my page, and you just copy it right out of this document. Oops, wrong one. And paste it right in here and remove all of this. Oops, all of it. And we're going to go back over here, and this is where we find our shopping link. Right now we have these 3 links. The party page is the link that we're going to want to add on there. That's what our guests are going to use to shop with. So go back here, and I'm just going to paste that right in there. And I'm going to leave the Saturday through Thursday and add my party dates. So we're just looking at Saturday through Thursday. We're not looking at the entire party right now. So this is going to be the 22nd through the 27th. And then Friday and Saturday will be August 27th through the 28th. And then here's where you're going to decide if you're going to close it Sunday or Monday. I was closing mine on Sundays, but then lots of times it was hard to get my host on board. So I want to try to, as much as possible, make sure that wait, I'm messing something up. Oh, there we go. Sorry. There's a blooper for you. I want as much as possible for the guests to have real idea of when their cards are going to be processed, because we don't want to mess up people's bank accounts. And then you're just going to throw your phone number in there, make sure that it's not left blank. So there we go. So now this is on the page, so it's going to provide an opportunity for people to get all the basic information of the party and to have a link to use to shop with. We're going to mark this as an announcement because that will make it easier for folks to find. Let me see if it's going to let me. Sometimes it does. Yeah. Okay, so it's marked as an announcement, so people will be able to find it easily, but we also want to copy this and put it one other place. Copy. And then we are going to go into settings. So here's where things really begin to diverge a little bit. On old Facebook, you would find the area that you would be clicking on up on the top. Over here on new Facebook, it's to the left. You click on settings, and we're going to go to name and description. So the name's already in there. It was there when we created the party. Now, as you go through the party, you're going to go ahead and have instances where you're changing the name as you are letting people know it's the last day and such. And so this is where you'd go for that too. But we're just going to go into this description block and just paste that information and save it. And that will allow people to access the information easily again throughout the party. And then the last bit that we're going to do is click on apps and add apps, and we're going to type in here. Now if you are not using Post My Party, this is an extra step you won't need to do, but I know a lot of us use Post My Party. So you'll type Post My Party in here. It'll bring it right up, which is much nicer than the old Facebook because it took 18 days. And then just click on that, add it, bam, you've got your app added to the party. If you don't add the app, you're not going to be able to set it up and post my party. So that's a really critical step. So now our party's all done. I can go in here almost. I'm going to switch over to myself because, like I was telling you before, if the person isn't a member of your business page, you're not going to be able to invite them as your business. So I'm going to go ahead and invite my host through there. And now she's been sent an invite. I will go ahead and let her know that she has that. And now she can go ahead and start inviting her friends. And the Facebook portion of our party is done. So right quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to our browser bar right up here. And I'm going to copy that URL out of there. And we're going to finish up the last piece on Consultants Corner. And that's to add this event link. Remember, we weren't able to do that before because we didn't have it. So I just paste it right in there and save it. So now you can see there's 4 little links there. And what that's going to do is it will allow folks to access the Facebook link through their little dashboard. Okay, so now the last piece to set up the party in its entirety is to do the post my party portion. You can do this right away when you set up the party. I don't normally do it at the same time unless I'm setting something up for at the last minute. And the reason is I might choose to change my template information. And if my party's already set up, then I have to go in and change the template and the party. But we'll go ahead and do this now, though, so that you can see how all the pieces fit together. Okay, so we have already done what we need to do there. We're going to schedule a party. We're not creating a template right now, scheduling a party. Okay, so this brings us up to our party setup page. We're going to choose a template. I've got 9,064 templates, but hopefully you only have a couple of them. And if you don't have a template, get with your recruiter or your director and they can get one for you. They will send it to you. And just click on this. I choose business page group and I choose this business. As you can see, I've been busy with business on Facebook in the past. And then choose a group. And hopefully, and this is where I was talking, you can see that like all my little palm trees are together and all my little suns are together. So if I use the same emoji in the same weekend, then it sometimes makes it easier to find my parties. So now we are looking for flames. There we go. And there's Paula. Yay, it worked. So there's Paula, and she is plugged in there. And we only have to worry about our start date. The one thing that I'll mention here is there are occasions where your date in Consultants Corner might not be the actual date that your host is expecting to see information on Facebook. If, for example, you are hosting a party or you're running a party at the beginning of the month and you're trying to grab the previous month's host benefits. In that case, on Consultants Corner, your party might be the end of the previous month, but on here, it'll be the actual date that your host is scheduled her party. I hope that makes some sense. Now, in time zones, I always use the time zone for where my host lives. My host lives in North Carolina, so we're keeping it the same. You can go ahead and set up time zones when you set up your account. You can set up your profile to select like a default time zone, which I use my own because most of my hosts are in my time zone. But I have done parties out in California and in Texas, and I can just go in here. There's Central Time. and their specific time, and I can make those adjustments there. We're going to put in our host name, which is Paula, just her first name. This is so that it will autofill her name and they appear in the portions of the template where we're posting using the host name specifically. It's a fill in the blank thing. And then the same thing here with the link. We're going to go back to Consultant's Corner. Always copy this. Don't try to type it, because that way it's not wrong. And it would be really sad for your host and you to lose sales because somebody couldn't access the shopping page or ended up the wrong one, which would be terrible. Okay, so now I just pasted that in, and we leave this text area blank. The templates that have been created for you don't include that. It's, I guess, something you can choose to use down the road if you want to make your own template. I don't recommend bothering with that right now until you get a little more practice in, but then, you know, the world is your oyster. And then we click create, and there's Paula's party. And you can see here, here's all of the posts that will be going on. So when you get your template from your consultant, from your recruiter, from your director, I really encourage you to take a look at it, because I'll show you in mine right here is my survey. And you probably don't want your guests filling out my survey. So just look through, make sure there's nothing that you need to personalize. And honestly, it's not a bad idea to add some of your own voice in there, not so much by creating your own post, but by going in and maybe changing the verbiage a little bit. So, whoops, let me go back so you see what I just did there. So you can go into a post and you can click on the little pencil and it'll let you change up the images, the times, all that good stuff for your post. And that helps us diversify a little too, so we're not all posting the same identical things at the same times. Now, if you're running multiple parties on the same day, the last little bit of information I want to give you is right here. You will want to make an adjustment if you have 2 or more parties. You want those parties separated by at least 15-minute increments. And so if this was like my second party that I was posting, I would click on the 15, and that would cause all of these times over here to bump by 15 minutes forward. If I was running 3 parties and this was a third one, I'd probably put 30 minutes. So that would make it 15 minutes past the second one, 30 minutes past the first one. Hopefully that's making some sense. And then once you do that, you'll click update. Anytime you make a change, make sure you click update, or it won't actually change. So now you are all good to go. You have your party set up in Consultant's Corner. You have messages everywhere. You have your party set up in Facebook, and then you have your party set up in Post My Party. And hopefully this was helpful.